Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children, I welcome you all to our online learning session. Today we are going to see chapter 2 of your class 9 English CBSE book. The chapter topic is Evelyn Glenn listens to sound without hearing it. Fascinating, isn't it? This lesson is written by Deborah Cawley. Before getting to know more about the topic, let us know about the author children. So, Deborah Cawley was born in India in 1806 and she moved on to Toronto where she worked as a freelance journalist and a writer. She died in 1849 at the age of 43. Let us get into the topic, children. Why Evelyn Glenn? What is so special about Evelyn Glenn? So, here are some children. Evelyn Glenn was a 2-time Grammy awardee and a BAFTA nominee. What is so special? Many of them are Grammy nominees and awardees. You can ask me what is so special about her. She knows to play 1,000 percussion instruments. So what is so special? She has mastered the languages of Japanese and French. You can ask me what is special with her still. She has done all these things though being profoundly deaf. You heard me right, children. She was a deaf person. She has achieved all these things though being deaf. And how did she do all these things? For this, we should understand the difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is just a reception of sounds by the ears, while listening is a complex process, children. It requires the coordination of brain and ears, and you have to be thoroughly concentrative in order to listen. You can always hear without listening, but you can never listen without hearing. Then how was it possible for Evelyn to do all these things? Let's get to the lesson and know how she did. So this is what we start with the lesson. Let us get into the line by line explanation of the lesson. Okay. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl looking younger than 17 years was nervous and excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. So this girl, we open with a story, a busy railway station, okay, where crowds are jostling. Jostling means okay, crushing or pushing each other. So you can imagine, children, how a railway station would be on a busy day. People jostle, yes or no? They push each other for position. And this girl, she was a slight girl. We get to see the appearance of Evelyn Glenn. She was a slight girl. She was a petite, small girl. Okay, slight means she was a thin, small girl. And she looked younger than her 17 years. So she looked much younger than her age. And she was nervous and excited. So we must know why she was nervous and excited, isn't it, children? She was nervous because of the vibrations of the approaching train. I already told you Evelyn was a deaf person. Then how did she know the train was approaching? You can see the author has hinted how she learnt music. Yes or no, children? She felt the vibration. She didn't hear the vibration, she felt the vibration. This is how she started learning music. It was her first day. Now we must have some reason, yes or no, to be tensed, to be anxious. Nervous means anxious. A person will be anxious for some reason, yes? And at the same time she was excited. That was feeling happy. She was happy and nervous at the same time because of the approaching train. So it was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London. So she was excited because it was the first day of her college. All of us would have come across this. Might be a first day in school. Yes or no, children? You would have been nervous and excited. So the girl was going through the same feelings. And it was daunting enough. Daunting enough means frightening. Okay, she was frightened at the same time. She was happy, nervous and frightened. Okay, because she was a teenager fresh from Scotland farm. She was from a countryside, a village girl. Okay, Scotland farm means she was from the countryside of Scotland. Okay, I hope you would understand the situation. Okay, she comes straight away from the village and she goes into the prestigious College of Music for the first time. So she is frightened. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. So she had even more challenge. It was not just the first day of her college which was daunting her, there was something more which the girl was undergoing. She was profoundly deaf. Profoundly means completely deaf. Okay? A deaf person, you know, somebody who has a hearing impairment. Yes? I hope we can go to the next paragraph. Yes. Evelyn Glenn, loss of hearing had been gradual. So Evelyn Glenn did not lose her hearing capacity just like that. It was gradual. It went through phases. Okay, she had been losing her hearing capacity step by step. Okay, her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play piano. They called her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized that she hadn't heard, says Isabel Glenn. Here we are introduced to Isabel Glenn. Isabel Glenn is the mother of Evelyn Glenn. So she recollects how she came to know that Evelyn was losing her hearing capacity. She says when the girl was waiting to play piano, when they called her name, she didn't respond. So the mother understood there was something wrong with the girl. I hope you understand this. You understood this paragraph, children. So now, for quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers. So what she was doing, she was trying to conceal. Conceal means hide. Okay, she didn't reveal it to anybody. She thought she could manage, so she was concealing it, she was hiding it, and she didn't share it with anyone. But by the time she was 11, her marks deteriorated and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. So when she was growing older in age, the hearing impairment became worse. Okay? It started deteriorating. Deteriorating means growing down or getting worse. Why it was getting worse? Because she was not able to hear, she was not able to concentrate on her studies, her marks went down. So the headmistress of the school urged our parents. Urged means compelled. Okay? They compelled our parents, they insisted our parents to take her to a specialist. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of a gradual nerve damage. So the doctor had found out that she had an hearing impairment. It has been severely impaired means it was severely damaged. Okay, because of some nerval problems. Yes, children, I hope you understood this. They were advised that she should be fitted with the hearing aids and sent to a school for deaf. So, everybody, the doctor, the teacher, they advised that she should be given a hearing aid. Now, a hearing aid is something which helps the deaf people to hear, okay, to some extent, okay, and she should be sent for some special school and not a regular school. Everything looked black, so she lost hope. Okay, she was an aspiring young woman. When you go and tell a child that she cannot continue with her normal life, everything shattered in front of her eyes. Everything went black means what? Her future seemed bleak. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. But Evelyn was not going to give up. So she was not ready to give up. She was determined. Okay, she was focused. She had a strong willingness to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. She wanted to continue her music life, and at the same time she didn't want to give up her normal life. She tried as much as possible to lead a normal life and continue her career as a musician. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. Most of the teachers discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. So she noticed a girl playing a xylophone. A xylophone is a musical instrument which looks like this. Okay, she wanted to play the xylophone, so she decided she should learn, and she also wanted to play it. And most of the teachers discouraged her because of her impairment. Okay, they said you won't be able to do because you cannot hear. But percussionist, percussion means, let's understand what is percussion first. Percussion means instruments which can be played by scraping it or tapping it, okay. So, instruments, musical instruments which can be played by touching on it, okay, that is called as percussion instruments. So, percussionist, the one who plays percussion instrument is called as a percussionist. And Ron Forbes, so he was the teacher. Ron Forbes spotted means identified, okay. He identified the hidden potential. Potential means talent of the girl. He identified the talent of the girl and he started to teach her by tuning means adjusting. Okay, he started by adjusting two large drums to a different notes. So he had two drums in front of him tuned to different notes. Don't listen through your ears, he would say, try to sense it some other way. So he taught her how to hear. He said, don't try to listen to the sounds, but try to sense, but try to feel what you can hear. So this is how she learned music, children. Says Evelyn, suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower one from the waist down. Forbes repeated the exercise and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. So she now understood how to sense the tunes. She started feeling the vibrations inside her body. The larger drum, she was able to feel the waist up, which means above your hip. The waist down is below the hip. She started feeling the vibrations of the music through her body. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. So that was the instant, okay, she opened herself. she was not sticking only to ears, she opened her body. Okay, she made the body to sense music. Okay, the music was pouring from inside of her body. That is how she learnt music. She never looked back from that point. She toured the United Kingdom with youth orchestra, and by that time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. So she had dropped down from the regular school, she started training with Ron Forbes, and she started touring United Kingdom. Touring means what? Going places, okay, with the orchestra. Orchestra means ensemble of instruments. Which means orchestra means a band, okay, a musical band. She toured the United Kingdom with a musical band, and by the time she was 16, she knew that she can learn music and she can have a career out of music. So she decided to pursue her career in music. Okay, she auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the academy. So she auditioned means a preliminary round. A preliminary round wherein the judges check if you're good enough, whether you're worth it or not. Okay, so just like our entrance test, children. Okay, before going to any institution, we have to take up the test, yes or no? Similarly, the Royal Academy of Music also had some preliminary rounds wherein she auditioned to prove herself, and she was the first person to score the highest mark in the history of the academy. Not just highest mark, in the history, okay, nobody had scored such marks. She gradually moved from the orchestral work to solo performances. So she started giving up this group performances and she started coming up front with solo performances. That means individual performances. Okay. At the end of her 3-year course, she had captured most of the top awards. So by the time she could finish her college, she had attained or she had won, okay. She captured means what? She won most of the top awards, okay. And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. If you work hard and you know where you are going, you will get there. And she got right to the top and the world's most sought after multi-percussionist with a mastery of some 1,000 instruments and a hectic international schedule. So she just, by the end of her course, she started getting lots of awards and she started doing individual performances, and she started, she had a very hectic international schedule. She didn't perform only in her country, she started going for international performances. Hectic means what? Too busy, okay. And she was the most sought after, means she was much in demand, okay. Everybody started calling her in for her performance, and she became the percussionist with a mastery of 1,000 percussion instruments, not just 1 or 2, 1,000. It is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. So it is fascinating. Intriguing means what? Fascinating or curious. It is fascinating to watch Evelyn function without any effort. She showed no effort. Okay, she didn't struggle. It was just pouring out of her body. Very effortlessly means what? Like a cakewalk. Okay, without hearing. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. So we can understand this lesson is based on the interview of Deborah Cowley with Evelyn Glenn. Okay, when they were on the interview, when they had a conversation, Evelyn Glenn never missed a word. Okay, she didn't fail to understand. Why? Because she knew how to read face, how to read the facial expressions, the movement of the lips, everything. Okay, and she had some problem, that is, persons with bushy beards, okay, gave her some trouble. Okay, she was feeling it hard only when people in front of her had bushy beards. Okay, that would cover up the face, isn't it, children? So it would be difficult for her to understand the lip movement. She laughed. It is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face, especially the eyes. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish lilt. My speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11, she says. So she says it is not just about watching the lips, it is the entire face, the expression of eyes and everything. And she speaks flawlessly. Flawlessly means without any mistakes. Flawless means without any mistakes. With a Scottish lilt. Scottish lilt is a slang, okay, a Scottish slang. And she says that she is able to speak clearly. Why? Because she was able to hear until 11 years old. Okay, children? Thank you, children. We'll see you all in the next class.